Hi guys, it's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today the Washington Commanders have traded for one-time Pro Bowl and one-time All-Pro Deebo Samuel. The Commanders are acquiring Samuel and sending a fifth-round pick to the San Francisco 49ers. Apparently, Ian Rappaport reported that the two teams that were reported for Deebo Samuel, interest in Deebo, were the Texans and the Commanders, and apparently the Texans really never had a shot at making this deal, and it was never a realistic option, and the Commanders were always the favorite to land Deebo Samuel, and it's done. Deebo is a Commander, and second-year Jaden Daniels will have Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin as their two best wide receivers on the roster next year. Yes, did Deebo Samuel have an off year this past season? He did miss 2 games, so 15 games, had almost 700 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. And I want to talk about this. Yesterday, since I'm a Texans fan, I made a video about the Texans potentially trading for Deebo Samuel, of course. Had to. And in that video, one thing I talked about, I think, which is key, is that when Ayuk gets injured, that kind of switches the way Deebo Samuel is going to play, if you look at it in this way, just because the fact that when Ayuk's on the field, sure, maybe Samuel had some off games when he was on the field with Ayuk, but when Ayuk gets injured, when Ayuk tears his ACL, more of the attention's going to be on Deebo Samuel, and Ayuk missed a good part of the second half of the season. Missed half the season, and so that makes it harder for Deebo Samuel. I think his life is much easier on the football field when he's on the field with Ayuk, because when Ayuk's in a different mode, you gotta pay attention to him, man. You gotta pay attention to Deebo, and I think that might be nice for him going to Washington, playing alongside a guy like Terry McLaurin. And I love Ayuk, but he's not as good as Terry McLaurin is, and so you're going to still see defenders being more focused on Terry McLaurin, and he's still the number one guy. And so, I think Deebo has played better football when you've seen, like last year, Ayuk obviously was healthy a good part of the season, and so Samuel wasn't the full attention on a defense. And so last year, for instance, 15 games, 15 starts, 89 targets, 892 receiving yards, and had 7 receiving touchdowns. So played the same amount of games the last 2 seasons. Yards went down by 222 this year, and the touchdowns went down by 4. And I think a big reason of that was due to Ayuk not being on the field. And like I said, his life is easier as a wide receiver when Ayuk is on the field with him. And so I expect him to have a way better season next season. When he's on the field with Terry McLaurin. Obviously, Deebo Samuel put up an amazing season in 2021 that made him an All-Pro, playing 16 games, 15 starts, 1,405 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns. He also made a huge impact on the rushing end with 365 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns. Want to note that this year, in 2024, he did have 136 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Last year, in 2023, he did have 5 rushing touchdowns and 225 rushing yards. So he had 12 total touchdowns this year. This year, his total touchdowns was only 4. So I think it's going to be a good year for Deebo Samuel in this Commanders offense. If you're wondering also, the Commanders have a pretty good depth wide receiver room with, Zacchaeus next to, Terry McLaurin. You got both Browns. You got Noah Brown, who made a huge impact for this Browns team, literally won them a game. And you have Deebo Brown, who was great in the playoffs. Why are they, making a deal when you have all 3 of those guys next to Terry McLaurin? Well, all Zacchaeus, Deebo Brown, and Noah Brown are all free agents. I'm not saying Washington's going to lose all 3. I definitely know they're not going to re-sign all 3 after this trade for Deebo Samuel. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington potentially signed 2 or 3 of those 3 guys. Sorry, if they re-signed 1 or 2 of those guys out of those 3 guys who were great next to Terry McLaurin last year, and were great during Jaden Daniels' rookie year. If I'm the Commanders, I would re-sign Noah Brown. Definitely got to bring back Noah Brown, and then bring back one of Zacchaeus and Deebo Brown. Either bring back both Browns and Deebo Brown and Noah Brown, or bring back Noah Brown and Zacchaeus. Reason I say you have to bring back Noah Brown, and as a Texans fan, I'm going to say this: C.J. Stroud in his rookie season. This is kind of crazy. Two of the best rookie quarterbacks we've ever seen, C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels, both were throwing the football to Noah Brown. Noah Brown made a huge impact in CJ Stroud's season, just like Noah Brown made a huge impact in Jaden Daniels' season. And CJ Stroud lost him this year. He kind of really lost his favorite deep ball connection. And sure, he still had Nico, and Diggs was a new addition for the team, and you still had Dell. But I think he really missed Noah Brown this season, in his second season. And if you've seen that with CJ Stroud this year, you don't want Jaden Daniels to lose Noah Brown. And especially the impact he had in Jaden Daniels' rookie season. So I'd say you re-sign Noah Brown, and then you re-sign one of Dimey Brown or Zacchaeus, and then your wide receiver room looks like, Deebo and Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, and either Zacchaeus or Dimey Brown. So let me know your thoughts on the trade in the comment section, and peace out.